Hey, yo, Rich. How you doing? Bit of a different vibe today. I'm actually on a 50-mile walk as part of a project for a different video thing. So, yeah, you get to catch me on the lovely San Diego beaches. Today we'll be talking a little bit about specifically New Year's resolutions, because we're at that point when both our clients and ourselves, if we had resolutions, they tend to start falling apart. This has been evidence in surveys. There's actually some research for it that it's about the end of January, early February that people start hitting that, the rocket ship is re-entering atmosphere and is starting to break apart. So if you actually set a resolution, I'd be curious, seriously curious to hear. Or if you know, that some of your clients have set a resolution, because I want to take this from two angles. The first is from our clients, because whether our clients actively tell us they set a resolution, whether we helped them set one or it had to do with the training process at the beginning of the year, a lot of clients actually, at the very least, it's a point of reflection. They're choosing their word of the year or their word of the quarter, their theme, their motto. They're reflecting on the last year. It tends to be a turning point even for people who find the word resolution kind of cringe. And so many of our clients, whether they tell us that they actually set one or not, are probably struggling right now. This is something I've observed, multiple times over the years in myself, in my clients, in my family, and this is something our coaches have observed. So I wanted to bring this up and some of the things that we can do to handle it. One of those first things, I call it look out and check in. So even if our clients didn't set a resolution with us or a plan with us, we can always be on the lookout for, am I noticing compliance starting to fall off? Am I noticing a lack of motivation in training? That could be one of a million different things, but at this time of year, it could also be their confidence in their ability to deliver on their goals for the year is waning. And so we check in. We check in with not just their goals in training, but their goals in particular. If there's an opportunity to have a conversation about their interests and what they want to see in 2025, now is a great time to have it. Because when we're talking about client retention, when we're talking about changing their experience and getting them to deliver, to step in at the right moment and ask the right question where they're like, oh my God, my coach helped me get back on track, when it wasn't part of the client relationship, wasn't a stated element, can be a life changer for people. And one of those big things that we get into coaching to do, right? To help change lives. And the next thing is accountability. So if it had to do with the training environment, with coaching, then make sure that we're holding accountability in this part. We're helping them through the rocket re-entering atmosphere. And then finally, troubleshooting. All the things this is when, if our client is having the struggle, this is what they have a coach for. They don't have a coach for the easy days. They don't have a coach for when it makes sense, when they're rocking it, when they're knocking it out of the park on their own. They have a coach for when, there's stress in the family at the beginning of the year. Their work has also decided to set resolutions and plans for 2025, and their hours and their weekends are now all hosed up, right? So whether it's shrinking the change, whether it's reflecting on their meaning and what they want out of training, whether it's changing the training program, whatever it may be, that's where we can step in as a coach. For Mitch, I didn't do a resolution, but set a goal a few months ago to be consistent. Hell yeah, that's awesome. One other thing that I want to point out, though, is what about our own resolution? So Rich, you set a goal to be more consistent, and that's fantastic. And as a coach, if you were to help a client set a goal to be more consistent, you kind of know what that process would look like. What is how to get clarity on that, how to step in and decide what does being more consistent look like? How do I know that I'm being more consistent? And this is one thing that I find with coaches. I kind of using this as an opportunity to introduce what we call with coaching coaches the master cue, which is if we're struggling in our own resolutions, if we're struggling to execute on the things that we wanted to change in 2025, what would you do if your client was presenting you with the same challenge? How would you coach yourself, coach? And just as examples for me, I set 2 targets. Well, the first one was for training, that I wanted to be 100% I wanted to execute my training program with 100% consistency and compliance. And that really, as a coach, challenged me to, like, wait a minute, what does a training program that requires 100% consistency look like? It has to be flexible. It has to be able to adapt, and making changes along that line. Also, I sprained my ankle 3 weeks ago. So all of a sudden I couldn't run. Like, even squats. Like, squats still hurt because of the amount of ankle flexion required. So the same things that we do for our clients in terms of making a program flexible, making it adaptable, reassessing what the goal is, but still sticking to a goal that we care about, all apply here. And then the second goal that I kind of set for myself that didn't go so well, I'm at the turnaround point for my little walk thing, my long walk thing, was, I'm not going to go into the details of it just because, too complicated. It's essentially a deep work target for each day to go for 6 hours. And in retrospect, like looking back, I had a daily log of how much I was achieving and what the obstacles were to achieving it, and wasn't knocking it out of the park. And it really came down to the same thing we deal with our clients. Did I need to shrink the change? Was 6 hours too much? Yes. What were the actual obstacles stopping me? Was it distractions from my phone? Yes. Was it not setting up my workspace so that I could actually do deep work, or else, I'm in the middle of it and now I've got to go get this other thing to take care of the job. I need to do this. All of those things were problems. So if you're looking at your own resolution, if you're looking at your own goals and you're finding that you're struggling with it as a coach, the master Q, coach yourself. What does that look like? And you might find that some of the strategies that you find to solve your problems happen to help a client with their problems later on. So that's all I got today. Thanks for joining in. I am at mile 15 of my 50-mile walk today. If you want to follow me on that, or just ask any questions about training, nutrition, anything in general, you can message the Barbell Logic Academy channel, or message me on CJ Gocher at Instagram. I have an open AMA kind of thing in my stories if you want to shoot a question about anything there: training, coaching, nutrition, blah blah blah, you name it. Thanks for hanging in, and I'll catch you around. Thank you, Reg.